While Adrienne, our co-founder, is traveling, we've dipped into the vault to share a gem from 2022 that's remarkably relevant today. Listen to Adrienne as she shares from her personal experience how slowing down can actually speed up team performance and improve results. Then stay tuned to find out how you can experience a complimentary People Strategy Power Hour, where we'll help you transform your business challenges into team wins. How? By slowing down and looking at the problem through proven data and a process to align before getting swept up in the tornado of do, hurry, 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 hurry. We look forward to hearing from you in the comments or reaching out to us directly, for this is a community of conversation. I hope you enjoy this timeless conversation. Welcome, Tom and Adrienne.
I think I have daily examples of that over the last 3 weeks since Thanksgiving.
Are you willing to share one?
Sure. So I've been doing some work with a client, and we have a brand new team. There's been a lot of transitions across the team, myself included. So I came in, inherited this project. We had several people leave. We've had our leaders leave and new leaders interim come in. So it's been a total game changer of both leadership and the change management team that's doing the work. And naturally, we've had to do a lot of level setting, a lot of ramping up very quickly. And our senior leaders have been frustrated that it has taken us this long to kind of get all of our ducks in a row. And we haven't made as much progress as I think would have been expected if it was all an intact team that stayed in place. And I've thought a lot about talent optimization because we have not leveraged the things that I know to be true around forming a team, the storming, the getting to know each other. We did all that very quickly. We did not do it with the advantage of predictive index to tell us our work styles. We did it through conversation, as I know many organizations do. And we have stumbled greatly along the way, I think, because of it. And we've not made the progress that we could have been making if we had just taken probably an hour to have a quick conversation around what are our respective work styles, what are our work responsibilities towards this project to get better aligned. And now we have senior leaders who have gone and in frustration put all kinds of working meetings on our calendar, but yet not set any agendas to that end. And so we're shaping it, we're working it, we're pulling presentations together at warp speed and still trying to get aligned all at the same time. And one thing that I did last week was my change team was frustrated. We were not clear on a 2-hour workshop, what we needed to contribute to that workshop. And there were just a lot of directions moving back and forth. And what I did was I stopped. And I stopped and thought and reorganized my own thoughts so that I could have a conversation with this leader who was driving this workshop to say, what is our objective or our goal of getting these 30 people together? Because the meeting was put on the calendar with a very high level, start sharing our plan kind of topic. What is the actual goal and who is the audience? And from there, we were able to shape what we needed to do. But without that pause, we would have kept running the race and we didn't even know what the race was for, but we were running anyway with no direction.
Yeah, that's so common.
So common.
The easiest thing to do is to go in our analytical minds and say, here's what needs to get done, and put deadlines.
That's
And it
right.
seems reasonable when we do it, but we don't take the subjective into consideration at all.
Hmm.
And then what does that cost? It
Yeah, I mean,
costs, you don't
it
make the
costs a lot.
deadlines anyway, and you end up resenting all of the people
Hmm.
and the work.
Yes, yes. And
So, what can we do to encourage the culture, the business culture, to understand that, cliche as it is, sometimes we have to slow down in order to speed up?
right.
It's amazing how fast things go once you get it and you're connected with someone else, how quickly you can work once you know somebody. But when you're transitioning and there's new people, you don't know the work that well or the people, and then
Hmm.
you push to make a deadline, you're not getting the strengths of any of the people.
No, no, that's exactly right. And I think it took, in this particular situation, it took, I know better, right? Like you feel like, well, I know better. When I look back on it in hindsight, of course I knew that the right thing to do was to stop and to ask, hold on, what's the goal? What's the objective, right? Like I know these things. And yet we went for a couple of days with just doing, right? We were just doing, we were just going because
The
someone told us to
tailspin
go.
has a life of its own when we
Yeah.
get in that tailspin.
And I was a colleague of mine said, you were in the eye of a tornado,
Yeah, good metaphor.
right? And you couldn't get out. And so you just, if you sit with it, you maybe can sink down enough to slither out. I don't know if you actually could do that in a tornado, but
We don't take our
let's
metaphors
not
too
try it, right?
literally. It's a good,
Sink down
yeah.
to slither out.
So there's a couple of things that let's dive a little deeper in a couple. First of all, what you said was what got us together in the beginning. You made the comment, I remember it like it was yesterday. I didn't know you that well. You say in these global people, I mean these global change initiatives, if we don't pay attention to the people on the front end, we're going to have to clean up on the back end.
Mm-hmm.
And I smiled because a lot of my work is cleaning up, because the change people said Schmedley and Smith have a cube next to each other and they have no idea how to talk to each other. And they got
Yeah.
dotted lines going, and it all makes sense. But you got to clean up on the back end if you don't do it on the front end. And yet, what you just admitted is true of all human development professionals I know. We need to be reminded of what we already know. And
That's
so
right.
part of you was saying, wait a minute, I teach this, I should know it. But we get into the cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And that's these words that are overused and underleveraged, which is proactive and reactive, is when we have deadlines and when we really want to get the job done, we become doing machines and we turn this thing off and we turn this thing off.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that you just declared pause. So that's the first
Yes.
step, is notice it's happening. And then don't
Right.
get on a big guilt trip. Oh, I teach this. How to just say, wait a minute, pause. Then the next thing is conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes to what you taught on empathy and agility. And just to say, what are other people experience? Imagine somebody that's even newer to the team than you are. And now they got a to-do list this
Right.
long and they don't even know, who is this woman? Yeah.
Right. And that was a lot of it too, was, frustration on both ends at all levels, because we just didn't have that clarity. And it was back to the basics, and I think, so it's the pause and it's getting back to the basics. And I have a Post-it note that says, I think this is from a reading of Brene Brown. And it says, notice it. So the thing that you're feeling, notice it, sit with it, and then put it in perspective. And that's my daily reminder. I mean, it's right there, where I can see it at all times. Doesn't always work, right?
And you
But
still forget it.
I still forget. Or
Yeah.
you just, again, you get sucked into the tornado and wrapped up into just all the swirl. But notice what's going on, sit with it and put it in perspective. And then I think have a conversation, right? And back to your basic questions. Does this align with our values? Does this align with our guiding principles that we've set out for ourselves or for the project, right? Does this align with the objective we need to be achieving by when?
And listen
then
to
go from there.
others, not just, so sit with it, pause, sit with it, then have a conversation. And what I love about your example is you aren't talking about investing 10 years or going to the Himalaya and finding your mantra or something. You're talking about a conversation that allows this to be expressed, because everybody's feeling
Yes.
it inwardly. It
Yes.
doesn't solve the problem. What it does is increases your resourcefulness. It's not like you still got the deadlines and you still got the to-do, but you're feeling a little more grounded in the we're in this together.
Conversation, the thinking and the conversation, I think took less than an hour.
Isn't that amazing?